Rolling. Ace Mirror Man. What the name? What's happening? What is this name?
Well, Ace is kind of what I grew up with. It's like I was always creative as a kid, so it's like Andrew Crawford, the entertainer. So ACE. And then my dad always used to call me Little Ace. And the Mirror Man came from like, I want to say junior high school, where I wrote like a poem. It was a class assignment, write a poem. And I wrote this poem about a guy who looked in the mirror, didn't like who he was or who he became, then broke the mirror, like shattered it, messed his hand up all bloody. And as he like, damn, my hand, he looked down at the glass and seen himself, like different versions of himself all through this broken glass. And in seeing that, he saw like, damn, this piece over here is dope. Let me put that back over here. And then reform the glass into who he actually wanted to be out of all of that. So the Mirror Man is like it's your twin. When you look in the mirror personally, like when you look in the mirror at home, you know what you see, you know who you are, even, despite other people's perception of you and what you've created for yourself, you know who you are. That voice in your head talking to you when you look in the mirror, it's like you don't always portray everything. You just try to be the best version of yourself, but that version, that real raw version, that whole version, that's what Mirror Man represents.
That's amazing. I love that concept. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That's pretty damn cool. So would you consider yourself a spiritual person?
Very.
Cool.
Like I literally I want to say I've always been that way, but because of the pandemic and everything that happened, it was like it forced me to just look at my life and how hard I was working towards things, like having like shit, like stuff, stuff that's going to just come back out every year. I'm working towards, busting my ass trying to get these things. And during that time, it was like a very important time to cut back. And I was able to see like, damn, I actually have everything I need to be my best self. And all I got to do is focus my attention on all that. And if I do it, and if I, time is money, right? You go out there, you get a job, you get that paycheck back, and we think, okay, I want to get these wants, get these, but there's something that you could be dumping that money into that's like self-investment, investing in you. And the more you do that, the more you empower yourself, you gain that confidence. You start feeling, because you put the work in, you worked your ass off over there, you blood, sweat, and tears over here to accumulate what you need to be who you truly are. And once you're in that stage, that's like gratitude. Once you're in gratitude, that's wealth. You're looking at life like, oh shit, I'm good.
Yeah.
I really don't need that. I can sit here and wait for the next opportunity instead of always going. It's good to fall back into that receiving mode sometimes. But but in order to do that, you got to have gratitude, because you'll never even see it. You know what I mean? You'll be so fixated on something that you don't have, you'll never stop and be like, damn, I got it all. Exactly. Now, from this perspective, what can I gain more? And it should be easy, but we make it hard, you know what I mean?
Right on, because people just think that there's something else that's going to fill them up, right?
And that's when I've like collected shoes, collected little knickknacks over the years, and you're like, I just have a room full of stuff. And it doesn't mean anything, over time. It's just, it loses its meaning. You're on to the next thing. Now you're just throwing shit on top of shit, So just having that perspective of gratitude, I feel like that is spirituality. When you realize you have it, that's when you can start magnetizing everything to you.
Yeah. We're on the same exact boat when it comes to that. It's all from inner, never from outer. You know what I'm saying?
And I definitely, I see a lot of your videos, and I see how comfortable and how you do your thing. And I'm just like, damn, it was always been perfect timing, because I was trying to work with you before the pandemic hit, but it never really hit off right. I found myself, like I said, trying to make it happen instead of it just falling into place, and seeing you pop up here. And this is my like home studio. Like, I record here. So seeing you here is like beautiful. It's all aligned, and I'm ready to jump right in, So
yeah, man, that's excellent. It's always interesting to see a person with a spiritual mindset involved in music. Tell us about the direction of your music. What kind of music do you produce?
I can't say what kind of music, but it's always from a place of like, I'm fucking ready to do some music, 8 in the morning, I have those, like the big speakers in the back here, the big ones that they use at shows.
Yeah,
I
PAs.
have those, in my home, and I'm just like, all right, put these beats on, and I'll just clean up with the beats playing. Just let something happen, you know what I mean? Like while I'm in that creative, either washing dishes, cleaning some shit, and then boom, idea come, run right in the dining room, get to writing, or I like to type. You know,
Okay.
I write hard, so my hands get to cramping up and doesn't feel good. So I've adopted the computer, the laptop. I like that. I'm not one of those artists that can do it with the phone either. Like I commend those guys. That means they can write on the fly. Yeah. Me, I'll be in the studio. Somebody be like, "Oh man, hey, jump on this." Dang, all right. I don't want to act like I'm not gonna do it. I want it, but I hate writing on my phone.
Now you said you can't really classify your music, but if you could get it close to classification of genre, what would it be?
I like it to be, I would say, hip hop poetry with like a dark undertone. I guess mixed with who's awesome right now, as far as
something like MF Doom or something like that.
Yeah, just like I guess in my words, I would say like I like all of it to be cinematic. I don't like actually talking about my days. I like talking about or putting into perspective lessons that I've learned. You know, a beat, like I'll hear a beat and it'll make me feel some type of way. And then I'll get memories of like, damn, why did I have that memory? Look, I could turn that into a hook, or that could be the first line that creates the song. So it's like, let me go off the feeling. Like I never go into a song with an idea already of what I want to write about. So I feel like that leaves me open to write a love song one day, or write a fuck you song, or write I just got some sweet shoes and I feel great. You know what I mean? Like, I like that openness of being able, and I feel like that's where spirituality put me, in that place of like, who are you for real? Do you even know? You know, like you have this idea of who you are, and you're like, I'm gonna go for that. But even in the process of going for that, there's new things that unlock, and you're like, damn, I didn't know I felt that way. You meet new people, they ask you new questions, and you're like, damn, I gotta think about that. I don't know my stance on that, you know? So I try not to limit myself by putting, hey, I'm in this box, because then I break out that box, people get disappointed. Like, oh, you're supposed to be rapping about spiritual stuff, and it didn't seem because spirituality to people could be different things,
right?
So me, I like to keep it in an area of like any artist would say, I'm giving you things from my life, little lessons, life lessons, little quotes that I've made up, and to keep it fresh.
Yeah, man.
That's my biggest thing. Like I love all music. I would love to do songs with so many different artists. Like Sada, he's been going crazy. His newest song, great. Just, like I can feel that energy. And a lot of people would be like, man, like you don't do songs with this type of artist or that type of artist. I'm like, man, it just has to be right. The song has to be right. Everybody it has to be like a growth. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Like it took me forever to grow into the artist that I am, even though I've been doing music for like 15 years. But to have that solid thing and say, you know what? I'm going to go, this is my sound. Yeah. I'm going to stick in this sound. I'm going to stick in this quality. Never go back on the quality, keep upgrading, keep going forward. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, man.
Visually, I just wanted everything to be cinematic, like a dream. So I think a lot of it is perspective rap. I'm just moving around, moving the goalposts on a different perspective. Basically, who is Andrew in all these different rooms? And then the Ace Mirror character is him at his most highest self. You know what I mean? Like when I say highest, I'm not speaking about like good and bad. I'm speaking more like whole.
One artist that is trying to break into the spirituality genre of hip hop is I think his name is NLE Choppa, and he says a lot of crazy things. My thing is like, man, spirituality is the word is so corrupted that people automatically get turned off when you say anything about spirituality, and especially in music and especially in hip hop, which it shouldn't be, because it's like you said, a lot of people have different interpretations for what the word means. Yeah. But spirituality, the word has been corrupted and has also been like negated and everything kind of shunned off. How do you plan to break in with that concept?
It's more of my whole thing when I first got into it, you know, I live this way. Like, I'm very big into astrology. Like, I'm very big into the Mayan calendar. I actually live my days by a 13 moon calendar.
Word.
So, like, I'm not trying to give people spirituality. I'm just sharing with you my life.
Perfect.
So it's more like I got a song I just released called Eatin'. The song is about, in quotes, if you hear the song, it's about eating pussy. But when I wrote the song was I love chicken, not I love pussy. So it's one of those. I went to Church's Chicken, got me a little combo, went back to the crib, was eating. KE sent me a beat pack. I listened to it first song. I was like, oh shit. And I love the groove of it. So it, I love chicken. I stay in the seasoning. And it was a bop. And then I shout out to Trio World. I hit her up and was like, yo, I need you on this track. She heard it. And then I was like, yo, what do you think about if I say instead of chicken, I say pussy? And she was like, just her. Yeah. I was like, all right, let's see it. And it turned out great. It was dope. I think just with that one word change, it puts it into a league where like strip clubs are gonna go crazy for it. For sure. It's gonna be a summertime banger. So
that's been out?
Yeah, it's out right now. It came out last month.
Okay.
And the video came out. Well, the song came out last year. The video came out this month. So just getting the marketing going for that, promo for that, it's a process, but
cool.
I love the song. Song was great. But to backtrack that to spirituality, nobody would know that song from a core level. I'm saying things in that song that you can see I'm coming from a perspective of you have to know who you are. Right. When you walk out into the world, you have to know who you are at a level of, that ain't me. I'm not going there. You know what I mean? Not, oh, I got dragged there. You hear a lot of that, like, oh, somebody made me do. No, you just weren't at your most powerful to say no. Because no is a sentence within itself. It's a powerful word. When you know what to say no to, saying yes is so much easier.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that go around doing things and saying yes when they really mean no. Yes. So if you move from that powerful place, and you have it really does take a powerful person to be able to tell you no. Like my mother used to tell me, like, you gotta learn to tell somebody no and look them dead in their eyes and watch the transformation. You know what I mean? Because the voice is powerful. The voice, that's God. It's like when you speak those vibrations, you gotta, not only do you gotta speak it, you have to act on it when the opportunities come your way, because the world always going to send shit your way to test you. Like, oh, I want $1 million. All right, are you going to make $1 million at that job? No. Well, why are you there? And a lot of people, they'll make the excuse like, well, I gotta be here. Well, if you gotta be there, who am I to tell you don't? But I've been in situations where I literally took the chance and said, you know what? No, I'm cutting from my energy. And it takes time. You go through the worry phase, that fear, but it's those people that cross that line where it's like, oh yeah, I was afraid, and the job kept calling me. People kept saying, hey, here's this job. And I kept saying no. And then the right thing came along and bam, dreams come true. But it's all because you knew what to say no to. And believe me, shit, when you 20, 30, it's hard because you didn't made a character out of all these people that you have in your presence, and they look to you and they depend on you in certain aspects that you might not even be aware of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey man, let me get a ride, or people that ask, oh, let me get a favor, and you just always so giving, and yes, you end up depleted.
Yes.
And when you don't have that energy, people don't even really understand how that affects your body and your mental. Like, you might be so depleted that you start having thoughts that you wouldn't have. Yeah. And those thoughts you may, because thoughts aren't yours. They come to you depending on what vibe you in. That's why people drink liquor. So they can, I was inebriated. They want, you want to be. And it's like, you got to be aware out here in the world, because that's what the world is. Yes. It's a fucking video game. When you go out into the world, you are being perceived by every person around you, which is affecting your world. Man. So if you got the mentality of I see danger, then of course, insane. Like, people like me and you, we don't know this. We might not know the same people. When we go out into the world, you might see things a little different than I do, which makes me totally oblivious, which makes you aware of it. But because of the energy I may uphold, that situation may not even be a vibrational match to me. Right. So I may be able to walk past it, but since it's on your mental and it's in your mind, you automatically, you know how you ever look at somebody and you notice them, but you hope they don't notice you, but y'all lock eyes anyway. Yeah, man. That's because y'all both is in that vibration to even make that happen. Yeah. Some people will be quicker to that. Some people will see a person, oh, I don't even want to be a part of this. Yeah. You know, and that's, you know, one of the things I said is like time travel. I reference time travel in the new song. It's like, that's what time travel is. To the ability to be able to see something in the future and totally avoid it. Wow. You know what I mean? And you can, some people would say, well, how did you know it was going to happen? Because you had the thought. Right. If you didn't have the thought, it probably wouldn't have happened. Yeah. You know, I've been in situations where I go somewhere and I literally be like, man, I knew I shouldn't have came here. Yeah. How many times do we say that to ourselves? And but you know, it takes that repetition, getting caught in that same loop over and over and over again for you to finally be like, whoa. I've done this shit already. Yeah. I don't need this again. And that's when you make that switch and you move lanes. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not about a song about whole spirituality. No, it's just little jewels. And all the greats do that. You know, it's their life. Like, I feel like Michael Jackson, Prince, Drake, they all live their own unique lives that we don't know anything about other than they make great music. Exactly. You know what I mean? The Kendrick Lamars, the Eminems, you know what I mean? All these people, they make this great music, but then they dip out, come out, dip back out. You know, they're living their own spiritual journey and just coming back and giving us the gems that they obtain from that. Rick Ross is another one. I was just listening to Rick Ross album. You could tell that brother living a spiritual life. he been doing it for so long. It's all just stories. Like, Ace Mirror Man is a character that I created to help me speak in a way that I can speak from that perspective. Not that I'm out here living this way, but I had some time where I lived this way, and let me tell you what I've learned from that. You know what I mean? And everybody's doing that just from a different perspective. I ain't got no I might rap on trap beats, but I've never been in a trap house. You know what I mean? I've had opportunities where I was able to sell a gram here and there, but I ain't moving no way. You know, so when you come, it's gonna be a whole different vibe.
What city are you from?
Detroit.
So did you feel kind of like outcast-ish or anything, or did?
Oh yeah, I don't fit in. Like, even to this day, like I like going to open mics. I like going to the scene, but when I'm in the scene, the energy is like I'm more of a hermit. I like being at the crib. That's how I really took the time to hone those skills of writing and spending 15 years creating a character. Like, Ace Mirror Man is kind of like a comic book character for the sake of hip hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just for me to be able to do what I'm doing. I look at like somebody like Nicki Minaj. Like, I look at her as like she has this character that can do anything. Like whatever. Eminem has this character that can do anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's so open-ended. They didn't box themselves in as one thing. Exactly. So it just helps to be able to last the test of time, especially in music.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree, man. Damn, we're on like the same focus as far as everything in life. That's interesting, man. But to that point, though, with you basically being not an outcast, but obviously different than your friends or whatever growing up, did you grow up around people that just ended up living that kind of lifestyle, or did you try to avoid that lifestyle that most people succumb to coming up in the hood or anything like that?
Man, I had a strict mom. I wasn't in the streets. Street lights came on, you were asses in the crib, and if you weren't, it was gonna be trouble. Your dad wasn't gonna give you no money. You know what I mean? Like, it was different. And I grew up in Southwest, so I was in Mexican Village. I had a whole lot of different friends. Very, very, very mixed down there. It was white kids, Mexican kids, Puerto Rican kids, Chinese kids, everything. Yeah. So I went to Amelia Earhart, Western International. It was a whole different vibe. But as far as other kids, nobody rapped. All my friends were like really, really creative. They did the arts, music. They played like the trumpets and flutes. Back then they had that stuff in school, but it wasn't I never felt like there was a group of guys over there that I didn't get along with. When that started happening, it was more like once I got into the music scene and I started like really doing music and showing up to the events, it was like, wow, I don't know that life. And every song was like, this is what we're doing. We're in the streets. And it was like, okay, I don't know anything about that life. I can't say whether this person is really doing it or not really doing it. It's just at this point, it's just the craft. It's just the craft, and I'm there to like hone my skills. And just being in that environment, it was always kind of intimidating.
Maybe similar to like a Tyler the Creator or something like that. Not to say like necessarily, but just how he kind of was different than he's different than a majority of the mainstream rappers that are out there right now.
And I think now is a great time for this type of art to break through, because like even watching their come up, they had to like really kick the doors down. So like anybody who was different coming in 2000 to like 2015 really had to like punch it. And because it was always like, for me, it was always gangster rap.
Right, yeah. I don't remember too many different. I remember there being a few guys that separated themselves, like Kevin Barrett and Chaos from Toronto and stuff like that. Wyclef kind of started off a little bit early with like he was more spiritual in his music, and then all of a sudden it kind of flipped over. But the whole thing is like I can't really
call
pinpoint
911 error.
Yeah, exactly. I can't pinpoint too many artists that strayed away from the general rap mainstream scene.
Yeah. So
something for sure.
So like even going up to open mics and trying to like do songs with artists, it was weird because like we go to the open mics, they had these shoot 'em up songs. I'm selling this, and it was like, dang, like I have these other songs talking nothing like that, because if I did talk like that, I have my mom in my ear telling me how that's not me, and I've done that before, just because in my mind it was always you had to crawl before you walk, so even listening to rap, it was like, man, I want to be like him, he hard, so you mimic and you write those bars, you try to get into that, because in my life, I was sitting in my room. I didn't have no life experience to really talk that talk, to even understand what was even going on. I rapped the words, but didn't really get a understanding of what they meant. And I would miss all the shit. So once I actually got my own voice, had my own life, and was able to pick you know what, that would actually make a good story, or you know what, the fact that I just had that I just did that thing, I'm gonna write about that. So it's really cool, and I think a lot of people, I would. It's hard to tell people like to give yourself some time to really understand who you are, so you can be the best version of you and put that into music, without people saying like, well, I want to get on now, and what's hot now, we need to match what's hot now. And I never wanted to do what was, because I never did the whole mixtape thing, like rapping on people's beats and shit. I always had access to original beats. Like back when I started rapping 2001, you can go on the internet, like it was all these different things where you can just download beats. I think what's the name? I can't think of it right now, but
mixtapes are kind of like cheating, man. I mean, they are kind of cool, but like, man, you're taking a high quality production beat from a legend probably in the industry, and then you're like rapping over it. So the beat's already supporting 70% of the song. And it's not too hard to fill in the rest of that 30.
Definitely.
But it's still heat though at the same time.
And I always took my head off, like when Wayne was doing it, like he was literally doing it and creating totally brand new songs on top of beats that were actually songs. You know what I mean? So that was dope. But I couldn't imagine like getting on a song now and having the hook on there and then me jumping on it. And it's like, that's not my style, and nothing. No, I'm not throwing shade at anybody doing that. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I just think my sound is different. I really try to keep it in, like, I guess back in the day when I used to go to the studio, one of my boys, we used to put like a filter on his voice, and we call that like the God mode filter. Like he would speak and everything would sound like God was saying it. So I was like, you know what? That would be an awesome perspective to rap from, like God mode. And to hear like someone like Kanye come out and say like, oh, I'm a God. And it's like, okay, I see what he was doing. Maybe he should have put it in the music. You know what I mean? So to rap from that perspective and not really have to tell people that you're doing it, but you just consciously have this idea that this character is going to have this perspective of himself, which causes him to, know that, oh, when I speak this, it might not happen instantly, but it's going to happen. All I got to do is speak it. sit back in gratitude, and when the opportunity comes for me to move on it with no fear of failure, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna be great. You know what I mean? Or that the music that I'm making is gonna touch souls. You know what I mean? No matter how many it is, no matter how much money I'm making, I'm gonna have great impact.
Yes.
And for like a few years, I've been telling myself like, I'm gonna be the most captivating hip hop artist to come out of Detroit.
Yeah.
Just off of like my passion that I put into the music. Like I have a song called God Gang, and it was a poem that I wrote, and it was more just, I want people to have this feeling of when you step out into the world, like the world is your oyster. You got to go out there, say it to yourself, say it out loud, say it to everyone, because you never know who has the keys to your prosperity. Yeah. You have the ultimate key because you got to go out there and pursue it and go get it. But you don't want to pursue it so much that you're blind to the gifts in front of you, which are the people.
Yes.
People are the angels and the demons. You have to be able to discern who you're doing business with, feel that energy. And when you know who you are, it's easier to discern.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have a guru, and the first advice he ever said was to, first of all, take responsibility for everything you are and everything that you're not. But more importantly, like you said, now, like, people have me come do like PA announcements or something like that, or like I'll be a guest speaker, and there'll be kids and shit, and they always, some kid will raise his hand and be like, "How do I become a rapper? How to become famous in the entertainment industry?" And I'm always like, "Okay, this is the first step. Go inside of a room one day, no fucking cell phone, no TV, no nothing. Just sit in the fucking room, sit down, and just sit there and imagine what you really want to do with your life, who you really want to be in life, and then move forward on it after you're totally honest with yourself and figure that part out." Because if you just jump into shit because you just think that's what you want, you're always going to end up entangled in some bullshit that you don't. And then once you get there, it happened to me 1,000 times where I was like killing it because I said this is what I want to do unconsciously, and then I got there and I was like, yo, I don't want none of this, bro. This is retarded. And then it gets even worse for you because you're stuck with it now. Like, oh, this is what it is. I'm stuck with it. Yep. So I like how you bring that up. You got to know who you are. You got to look in the mirror to figure out exactly what you're about and what you want to do with this world, do in the world, and shit like that. A lot of kids, again, everybody's looking at TikTok like, oh, I want to do that, and it's like, bro, do you realize? Did you think about it? Did you sit, motherfucker? Did you sit and think about it?
Like, they just want that overnight, and it's funny to me because a lot of people that get that overnight, a vast majority of them get that overnight success or fame. I wouldn't call it success.
Yeah, right.
I would call it fame, and it's for something totally not what they wanted it for.
Yeah.
They did the thing, but the way it got, the perception of the thing was not what they wanted, and it just went into a whole different direction.
Yeah, one of my favorite actors growing up, his name is Jim Varney. He played the Ernest movies. I don't know if you ever seen Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Goes to Jail.
I have. I've seen. I'm sure. Yeah,
if you see him, you'll know him instantly. But he was talking about he used to do theater and shit like that. Like he wanted to be fucking like a real actor.
Yeah.
But then he got stuck with this role as Ernest, which is like a goofball character that's oblivious to life and shit like that. And they always ask him like, "Did you ever think you would be this?" And he was like, "No, not in a million years." And he ended up dying at like the age of 55, bro. He died young. You know what I'm saying? Almost. Yeah, you're good. He died young, man. He died. Yeah. So I see what you're saying, and I like that message a lot. What message would you deliver to people just outside of even music and stuff like that? Just from your own spiritual knowledge, from your own spiritual perception. What message would you deliver to people if you had the chance to?
The best thing you can do in life is, whether it's music, your career, figure it out and move in that energy as if it's already you. Mm-hmm. Like, once I started just being me, with all the talents, the writing, the stuff, the work that I've accumulated so far, it was like, what am I chasing? I have a whole life. There's people that love me. There's people that I love. My peace. Like, I don't need to do anything. And once you get to that level of gratitude, everything just starts coming so much easier and faster. Yeah. You won't feel obligated, to do certain things. Because all that is obligation, having to do something you don't want to do. Right. Figure out a way that you don't have to do it. And it doesn't have to take years. It can literally, you can start today and wake up different tomorrow and start looking at your life like, wow, you know what? I'm good. Yeah, I do want that, but it's coming. I feel it. All I got to do, you can't be a rapper until you write a song.
Yeah.
Like, Well, I guess the way that people would like to be rapper and be seen as a rapper, you got to write that song. What's your goal? You want to have a music video? Then write the song. You want to be on the Grammys? You got to write the song.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the little things. Like for me, a great goal is just completing another song. Yeah. And when I say completing, I mean at home writing it. Like the songs that you see that have videos, like those are just what I thought was nice for now. Like I got so many songs, and that's the main accomplishment. Keep writing music, because if you start writing music, then you're not really who you say you are.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, you should have art. Where's your art? Let me see your art. You either should have some done, or you should be painting one now, like in process, because it's all a process. This whole game, like I don't know not one person, I've not read one book where the person who's quote unquote successful and made it felt like they've made it yet.
Nah, yeah.
They always are in a process of going. Like I'm pretty sure, like even though Drake is where he's at, he's still headed somewhere. You know what I mean? We might look at it and say, "Oh man, he made it," but if he did, he'd just chill out and go do something else. But
yeah,
he's got a road, and we don't know where that road ends. And I'm pretty sure it's been planned, and it's steadily being added onto. You know what I mean? So once you just get into gratitude, look at your life, like you said, sit down in a quiet place, look around at the things you got, preferably in your room where all the shit is yours, and really start looking at where you can subtract and where you can start adding and placing your attention. Take your attention off bullshit and start feeding it into your shit. It's fertilizer for yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And that's the best.
Yeah, just sitting alone and because you always got to think about it. If you were handed every single thing you've ever wanted in life, what the fuck would you do after that? And that's where that question comes in of sitting alone by yourself, because if you do that, you'll know the answer to that question.
The downside is fuel. Yeah. All that bullshit you go through, that's supposed to be the fuel to make you go and do that. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Literally just soak it in. All the troubles, the bullshit, the trauma, soak it all in. Realize that's who you are now, and then from that place you can actually grow and heal.
Yeah, 100%. What roadblocks have there been so far trying to become an established artist in Detroit in particular?
I guess, utilizing real life. You know what I mean? Especially coming back from this whole pandemic and being stuck in the house and getting so used to being, networking through the phone and actually getting out again and being with people. You know what I mean? Making it known like, hey, I'm here for this. I'm not just gonna do it behind the scenes, but I'm also here showing up in the space. So I think that's one of the big things that I've had to get back into, because I've gotten comfortable writing my music, putting it out online, promoting it online, getting the feedback, because you pay the right avenues, you're gonna see profit back. So it has to be more than just about the profit. It's like, what am I getting from? What's feeding me? Mm-hmm. What's other than the money? That's cool, but what's feeding? Is it feeding my soul? So when I walk into this venue, like I want to shake hands with other creatives and feed off of that. Let them get on stage. And I won't even go to perform. I'll go just to show support, because if I give it, I'm gonna get it in return tenfold. Like that's just always been my process.
Yeah, it's a natural way of going about it, a very genuine way of going about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's the easiest.
Yeah, it is, but it's also the cleanest way to go through it. I think a lot of people try to do all these crazy ass things to try to become an accomplished or upcoming artist and all that, and it sounds like you just want it to happen the right way. And not only that, but you want things to be genuine throughout. I can't imagine you putting somebody on a song that you wouldn't want to mix with your music. I can't imagine you being a part of something that doesn't fit with who you are. Like you said, you tried it, didn't work for you. Even your mom's looking down like, oh, what are you trying to do right now? Yeah. That's not a good feeling either. Is there any future projects everybody can look out for?
Oh yeah, the music isn't stopping. I got tracks with James Azure, Trill World, Maya Monroe. Shout out to Maya Monroe too. She got these dope shirts. Make sure you guys go copy one. Hit her in her link in her bio. Hit her in her DMs. She gonna get one for you.
I love it. It's
and
awesome.
look out for that new track. It's called One Thing. It's featuring Trill World and James Azure. So that's gonna be dope as fuck.
This is one of those interviews where meeting you in person and talking to you is making me more interested in listening to more of your music and really getting down to the depths of your music and even checking out the history and the whole discography just kind of see like the upcoming of your music and seeing the future of it. So glad you came on, man. It's always good to have a person that kind of has that similar mindset as you about stuff, but still we're both involved in the entertainment industry and the hip hop industry itself, which is a little bit the mindset in hip hop. You wouldn't associate it too much with spirituality. Right now, I don't think you can hear too much of it.
Yeah.
And so meeting somebody that's in the same thing is pretty cool, man. But everybody go check out Ace Mirror, man. New projects dropping. We're filming at Parallel Sound Studio. Vantage Photos behind the camera. We're out. Peace.